suddenly articulate with 1,000 tongues to lift one cry. Then from north to south and east to west, we'd hear Christ be magnified. And were the whole earth echoing his imminence, his name would burst from sea and sky. From rivers to the mountain tops, we'd hear Christ be magnified. Oh, we lift his name high. You sing it with me. Oh, Christ be magnified. Let his praise arise. Christ be magnified in me. Oh, Christ be magnified from the altar of my life. Christ be magnified in me. When every creature finds its inmost melody, and every human heart its native cry, oh, then in word enrapture hymn of praise, we'll sing Christ be magnified. Oh, be lifted high in me. Oh, Christ be magnified. Let his praise arise. Christ be magnified in me. Oh, Christ be magnified from the altar of my life. Christ be magnified in me. I won't bow to idols. I'll stand strong and worship you. And if it puts me in the fire, I'll rejoice 'cause you're there too. I won't be formed by feelings. I hold fast to what is true. And if the cross brings transformation, then I'll be crucified with you. 'Cause death is just a doorway into resurrection life. And if I join you in your suffering, then I'll join you when you rise. And when you return in glory with all the angels and the saints, my heart will still be singing and my song will be the same. Oh, Christ be magnified. Let his praise arise. Christ be magnified in me. Oh, Christ be magnified from the altar of my life. Christ be magnified in me. Oh, yes. A Roman cross you carried, a borrowed tomb left empty. Your spirit now within me. Oh, what a miracle. Oh, what a miracle. Behold the Lamb of God, who takes away my sin, who died and rose again. Hallelujah.
Well, good evening, Lufkin Central and Online Worship Community. Jason Hollinger, the campus and community minister here. And tonight for our evening devotional, we're gonna talk about a request made in 1 Samuel chapter 8, a request by Israel. We're going to talk about that right after this time in worship.
And I am holding on to faith, because I know you'll make a way. And I don't always understand, and I don't always get to see, but I will believe it, I will believe it, 'cause you make mountains move, you make giants fall, you use songs of praise to shake prison walls. And I will speak to my fears, and I will speak to my doubts. You were faithful then, you'll be faithful now. And I'm standing on your word, calling heaven down to earth. And you will fight my enemies, and this will end in victory. And I will believe it, yes, I will believe it, 'cause you make mountains move, you make giants fall, you use songs of praise to shake prison walls. And I will speak to my fears, and I will preach to my doubts, that you were faithful then, you'll be faithful now. Oh, you were faithful then, you'll be faithful now. And I know that I know you never fail. And I know that I know you never will. No. And I know that I know you never fail. And I know that I know you never will. 'Cause you make mountains move, you make giants fall, you use songs of praise to shake prison walls. And I will speak to my fears, and I will preach to my doubts. You were faithful then, you'll be faithful now. You make mountains move, you make giants fall, you use songs of praise to shake prison walls. And I will speak to my fears, and I will preach to my doubts. You were faithful then, you'll be faithful now. You were faithful then, you'll be faithful now.
You know, as we mentioned in the opening, we're talking about a request made by Israel. Comes in 1 Samuel chapter 8, and I don't know about you, but the title of this chapter in my Bible is Israel Asks for a King. You know, he had grown a little older. He'd appointed his son as Israel's leaders, and you know, you had some others that were in place. You know, that along with his sons, that were not the best leaders. You know, his sons did not follow the ways of their father, and says they turned aside after dishonest gain and accepted bribes and perverted justice. And you know, so you have those in the position of leadership and authority that again, you know, Samuel's sons were not the only ones in the history of God's people as leaders that were dishonest and did not serve in godly ways. But the people asked for a leader, and You know, Samuel, I think we very clearly see that he struggled with this. Um, it says, they said, "Give us a king." It says this. Well, this says this displeased Samuel. So he prays to God, and the Lord tells him, says, "Listen, listen to all the people what they're saying to you. It's not that they have rejected you." He says, ultimately, God says they rejected me as their king, as they have done from the day I brought them out of Egypt until this day, forsaking me and serving other gods. So they are doing to you. Now listen to them, but warn them solemnly and let them know what the king who will reign over them will claim as his rights. And what we find is this path that now leads us to King Saul. You know, the people cried out for leadership. In and of itself, there's nothing wrong with that cry or with that desire for leadership. But uh, just as in Jesus's day, I think oftentimes we misunderstand what earthly kings are about. Ultimately, Jesus is the what? Is the King of Kings, is the Lord of Lords. He is the one over all. And ultimately, our allegiance should be given to Him. Yes, we are to respect those in authority, and uh, we are to give them again our respect because of the position that they're in. Um, we're not to try to tear them down, but we are to pray for them. We are to try to encourage them and build them up, and pray that God would use them for his glory. But ultimately, this desire for a king, this desire for someone uh, to serve as judge, to serve as royalty, to lead the nations, to to give power and authority and rule, ultimately that belongs to God. And when those who are put in that position of leadership lose sight lose sight of their purpose, of their role in reigning over God's people, chaos will happen. Tragic times will happen. You will have situations like Samuel's son that turn aside to bribes, and it's all about them. But when God's people, God's servants, surrender to Him and live that out, man, amazing things can happen in the faith family of God. Amazing things can happen through His church, through the homes, through communities, through businesses, through schools. Amazing things can happen when we surrender, when we trust in Him. So, who is king of your life? Who reigns and rules over your heart, over your mind, over your soul, over all that you are? It's not Jesus. It's not God. My encouragement to you is take some time to see what needs to be done for you to surrender your life to Him. You know what? Then reach out to us. Let us know. We would love to be a part of this journey with you. Through it all, have a great night. God bless.
I choose to worship. I choose to bow. Though there's pain in the offering, I lay it down. Here in the conflict, when doubt surrounds, though my soul is unraveling, I choose you now. I will praise you through the fire, through the storm, and through the flood. There is nothing that could ever steal my song. In the valley, you are worthy. You are good when life is not. You will always and forever be my song. I build my altar right here and now. In the midst of the darkest night, it won't burn out. For you are perfect, no matter what. In the joy or the suffering, I sing it loud. I will praise you through the fire, through the storm, and through the flood. There is nothing that could ever steal my song. In the valley, you are worthy. You are good when life is not. You will always and forever be my song. When the enemy says I'm done, I lift my praises. When my world comes crashing down, I lift my praises high. Till the darkness turns to dawn, I lift my praises. I choose to worship. I choose you now. When the enemy says I'm done, I lift my praises. When my world comes crashing down, I lift my praises high. Till the darkness turns to dawn, I lift my praises. I choose to worship. I choose you now. I choose to worship. I choose you now. I will praise you through the fire, through the storm, and through the flood. There is nothing that could ever steal my soul. In the valley, you are worthy. You are good when life is not. You will always and forever be my song. When the enemy says I'm done, I lift my praises. When my world comes crashing down, I lift my praises high. Till the darkness turns to dawn, I lift my praises. I choose to worship. I choose you now. I choose to worship. I choose you now. I choose you now.
Here is where I lay it down, every burden, every crown. This is my surrender. This is my surrender. Here is where I lay it down, every lie and every doubt. This is my surrender. And I will make room for you to do whatever you want to do whatever you want to. And I will make room for you to do whatever you want to This is my surrender.